All right, Anthony Joshua's next fight. This is an article here from Talksport. It says the following: Anthony Joshua has told Talksport that his next fight will take place on September the 20th or September the 21st. The 20th is a Friday, the 21st is a Saturday, so Friday or Saturday, at Wembley Stadium in London. Now, before I read on the article and he talks about, who are rumoured to be in the short list of opponents, I didn't think Joshua would fight in the UK again, or certainly not anytime soon. I thought that with Joshua, a bit like Tyson Fury, their fights are primarily going to be in Saudi Arabia, certainly in the immediate future, because that's really where they make the most money. Joshua was quite used. His last two fights have been in Saudi Arabia. He's fought over there before as well against Usyk and against Ruiz. I thought that that's where he'd probably be basing his fights. So to hear that he's coming back to London, Wembley Stadium of all places, that's a good thing. Wembley Stadium. But when did he fight in Wembley Stadium last? Jesus, when did he? He fought in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Usyk. When's the last time he fought in Wembley Stadium? Was it against Klitschko? Was it against Klitschko? Because he had a few in the Principality. He had Parker and Povetkin in the Principality. It must have been Klitschko last time he fought in Wembley Stadium. It's been a while. And that's going to be in London. So I remember when they announced the Terence Crawford card in the States for August the 3rd, there was, well, obviously, it wasn't that there was talk. His Turkey Al Sheikh basically said that it's going to be US shows and there's going to be a UK show. Frank Warren alluded to that last week in the York Hall on the Queensbury show. So that would make sense to have Joshua headline the UK show. I'll read on with the article. AJ has revealed that there are four names on the short list to be opponents. The winner of Deontay Wilder versus Zhilei Zhang and or the winner of Philip Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois. Whoever puts in the best performance will emerge as the front runner. It was already known that Saudi Arabia boxing chiefs headed up by His Excellence Turki Al Sheikh are planning a big event at Wembley in September. Many had speculated that AJ could headline, and the man himself has now confirmed this. When asked for an update on his ring return, Joshua told Talksport's John Jackson ahead of the Formula E Monaco Grand Prix. I don't like Formula E; it's too quiet. When obviously for electricity. Whenever they tell me their dates, I'll be ready 100%. It's going to be in London, Wembley Stadium. That's what I'm being told. If that's what they say, they normally get back. They normally back their word. So let's go with that. Wembley Stadium, the 20th or the 21st. Discussing his potential opponents, AJ explained. Hey G, His Excellence Turki Al Sheikh on June the 1st. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, you've got the Hrgovic versus Dubois. They're just talking about the matchroom first. Queensbury 5v5 on the other part of it. You've got Hrgovic versus Dubois and you've got Zhang Wilder. So providing one of them looks good, the one who looks the best, His Excellence Turki Al Sheikh, said to me, I want you to fight him. What he says in the future, I want people to look back at your record and say, you took on the best. I said, now you're speaking my language. So out of that pool, I believe that's who I'm going to be fighting, one of those. We're on the same page and he's on the same page as the fans as well. He's trying to deliver what the fans want. I know they want big fight. I know they want the big fight with Tyson Fury and he's working on that. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So let's have a little discussion on that. As I said, I'm glad that they're going to get a big show in the UK in London. Obviously, I'll be there, living in London by then. So that's going pretty well. That's going pretty well, pretty damn good. So yeah, keep you in the loop on that one. But I'll be hoping to attend that. I love the kickoff press conferences. As you know, I love going to them. They're good fun. So yeah, I'm all for a big Saudi show or a Saudi type show in the UK in London. That'd be amazing. Wembley Stadium of all places. Fury versus Dylan White was the last big show we had in Wembley, and again, I'm pretty sure it was Klitschko Joshua prior to that. So Wembley Stadium, it's gonna be if they're doing it in Wembley Stadium, that's gonna be a big show. It's going to be a damn big show. Would they do another match in Queensbury 5v5? What would they do? We can only speculate. In terms of the opponents, right. Hrgovic Dubois, the winner of that. You see, if you're going to do it in Wembley, you would look at those opponents and you would say who would get the most eyes on it. Out of those four opponents, notwithstanding who you perceive is going to win, Dubois versus Hrgovic and Zhang versus Wilder, out of those four opponents, who would you say will get the most eyes on that show along with Anthony Joshua? Oh, it's easy. It's Deontay Wilder. Just this. It depending on how he looks against Zhang. So I would say that Turki Al Sheikh saying whoever looks the best. I would imagine he's probably looking at Wilder thinking that's what we want. We would have had that fight in March this year. We would never have had Joshua versus Ngannou had Deontay Wilder come through Joseph Parker, which he didn't. Now, Zhang is a different proposition altogether. Some would argue it might be easier, but some might argue, myself included, that it's actually probably harder because Zhang will give you opportunities to hit him. You don't want to give Zhang opportunities to hit you. And that's all I got to say on that one. In terms of Dubois versus Hrgovic, Dubois would probably get eyes on it. Hrgovic, I don't know, nor do I think Zhang would. But they're all good fights. Joshua against all four of them would be a very, very good fight. If it's a case of... So basically, we don't know what the situation is with the IBF. So if Fury and Usyk happens come on May the 18th, then the IBF, you would imagine, will be vacated pretty quickly, and apparently it's going to go to the winner of, well, apparently the Dubois versus Hrgovic fight, that's going to be for the vacant title. Okay. If Joshua fights the winner of that, it's a world title fight. If Deontay Wilder, I'm not saying he will do this, but if Deontay Wilder goes in and just blitzes Zhang, then they'll probably do Wilder. That'd be non-title. It's almost as if now, Turki Al Sheikh, yes, he's trying to make the best fights, but it's like the world title is almost kind of just there. Because if you think about it like this, right, what's the fight out of those four names that would be the biggest? And as I said, I think it's Deontay Wilder. That would be a non-title fight, but would anyone really give it a? Like, people would watch that regardless. It's almost getting to a stage with Turki Al Sheikh that he's making big fights and the belts are just kind of almost there. I'm not saying that's how I perceive it, but it's kind of how it looks like. The belts are almost just there as a bit of a kind of trick at this stage, because Joshua versus Ngannou had no title on the line, but people tuned in left, right, and centre. You know, the Day of Reckoning had no real titles. If there were titles, there was, in terms of the main card, there was no real significant titles on the line, if there was any. But did it matter? Not really. No one really seemed to care. In terms of how I look, Joshua versus one of those four, I think all of them are great fights. Who would I say? See, here's the thing. The fights are going to be competitive, I think. I think that Dubois versus Hrgovic is going to be competitive, regardless who wins. As such, I think will be the case for Zhang Wilder. So, who will do the best? I mean, they're all going to be in competitive fights, so it's really going to be a pick 'em. If someone goes in there and obliterates the other guy, which I see as being unlikely. It is heavyweight boxing, though. Anything can happen. I see it as unlikely. Either of those, Zhang obliterating Wilder, vice versa, and the other way around with the other fight. I see it as unlikely, but you never know. But, yeah. I mean, I think knowing that the prize for winning may not only be a world title, it may be a fight with Joshua and another massive payday. For these guys, the incentive is to just go in there and give it your all. Not to be happy and think, oh, I've got a nice payday, see you later. It's like, the payday after this is going to be even bigger, on an even bigger stage. Let's keep going. I like that. Honestly, I mean, you think of it like this. I know I'm rambling a bit here, but you think of it like this. Zhang's coming off the back of a loss, and he could go in there, fight Wilder, and then fight Joshua. Coming off the back of a loss. It's crazy, really. But, again, I like what the Saudis are doing. They're acting as though... I think their kind of way of looking at it is like, if you come and you give it and you make a good fight of it, even if you lose, we'll have you back. But if you just come and just, don't do anything, see you later. So what argue that's the right way to look at it. Anyway, that's just Joshua. That was released there about an hour or so ago. So let me know your thoughts. Which fight would you like to see out of those four potential? Which one do you think is the most likely that we will see? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you. Peace.